So skinny, Tony.
You've broken my camera!
Camp, hope we sing to thee. Come on, guys, sing the greatest camp in history.
Welcome back,
Boys,
everyone.
boys,
Welcome back to
boys.
CrossFit. I'm your co-host, Chris.
I'm your other co-host, Josh.
It was my pick, and we were talking about the 90s, and I figured we go with heavyweights. I haven't seen heavyweights in like forever. Again, probably since I was a kid. I had it on DVD. Ben Stiller, man.
Yeah, a young Ben Stiller. This was he 95, so he was probably like late 20s, early 30s. So
Almost.
my thing about Ben Stiller in he plays two kinds of two types of roles. He either plays the lovable loser, like you see in Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents, Along Came Polly, or
Mhm.
he plays the insane guy in either Heavyweights or Dodgeball.
No,
Like
yeah, those
like
are
this,
two very similar characters right there.
yeah. So I mean, when I saw Dodgeball, I was like, this is just Heavyweights. Like this is the same guy. He's like the health nut,
Here at Globo Gym, we understand that ugliness and fatness are genetic disorders, much like baldness or necrophilia.
Yep.
crazy freak guy. Very, very
Very
good
competitive.
body, a very good body.
Yeah, yeah. Very competitive for sure.
But yeah, he plays one of two roles, and this is the second role that he's playing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's funny because I've been started watching that show Severance on Apple TV, and he directs a lot of those episodes because he hasn't really been doing a ton of acting recently.
Mhm.
I think he's going to be appearing in the new Happy Gilmore movie this year, reprising his role
Okay,
there. But
okay.
yeah, he hasn't been doing a ton of acting, so it's just funny that I watch these like interviews with him for Severance, and he's so mild mannered and just talks so pleasant. And then you watch Heavyweights, you're just like he's out of
Fully
his mind.
opposite. I remember watching it as a kid. It's like, I want to go to that camp. The camp looks awesome. Go-karts, the blob, so many fun activities. I was like, come on, that's a summer camp.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So, did you ever go to summer camp?
Yeah, but I was not the kind of that you get dropped off and you like sleep there. Not like
Okay,
that. I got picked up every day kind of thing.
okay, but it was like a summer camp where like you go and you have activities and you like hang out
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah, you have activities, you have the whatever sports there are and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay,
remember
uh,
one year.
okay. I never did summer camp growing up because I always played baseball, so
Mhm.
baseball was always my summer.
Right.
Um, but I always thought it would have been fun to do like a summer camp like once in my life. The closest I ever came to a summer camp was a movie I worked on like 10 years ago in Atlanta, and we shot for like 3 days in a summer camp.
Oh, wow.
That was about it. I think we did stay at the cabins and everything, and the idea was the movie was it was like a summer camp, so my
Right.
kids were running around. So that was like the closest. But I always thought it'd be fun to do a summer camp. I never had the desire to do it, but maybe like for like a year, I would be like, cool, let's do that. And I'd either get the heavyweights experience or the Friday the 13th experience. So either way.
Well, see, the thing is, I never did a summer camp like in the movies, like in heavyweight, because for me it was like it was just a place where they had different courts. You got the basketball court, the volleyball, the swimming, uh, stuff like that, a little obstacle course, and that was it. But it was for the whole summer. But I mean, my summer is different from yours. Yours is like 3 months, mine is 2 weeks kind of
Mm.
thing. But uh I always did kind of want to go to an actual summer camp, and stay in the cabin and whatnot. But then my other thinking is like, do I really want to just stay there with a bunch of kids that I don't know? You know, and I've only been inside of a cabin like that when I was a kid. We used to go to a town in Guatemala where my grandfather had built a cabin for that. just to go visit sometimes, and it was just like a Friday the 13th cabin in the woods thing. It was all, all wood and all the rooms and they all connected to each other by one passageway. And it was weird, like the windows were just the holes with mesh, and that was it,
Hmm.
you know.
Okay.
And it was interesting. That was the closest thing I ever been in a camp uh cabin,
Hmm.
stuff like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, going back to your original point, they do make this camp look a lot of fun in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, the blob, the go-karts, I'm sure there were other activities. It's
Yeah.
like a big, you know, lake and you could do
Yeah.
swimming and all this other stuff. And then that's when our main character, Jerry, gets kind of sucked into this idea of, oh, you know what, this could be fun until he finds out at the end of this promo video that, oh, it's a fat
Okay.
camp. And it's
Yep.
specifically just for kids to lose weight, which is like a real thing. I think
I
that's
know.
like a real thing. I mean, I've never really seen them or like been seen promotions for them, but I definitely feel like that's I've heard of that of like you send your kid here with the idea of hopefully they're going to lose weight.
Right. And I I can see how it's very humiliating as a kid, It's like you said me if I can because you're saying I'm fat. I was like, no, but yes, kind of thing. And like I mean, speaking of weight, I've been up and down all my life. You know, like I never had to go to like a fat camp or anything like that, but I I can understand the feelings of it, of kids wanting not to go there because of what it's meant to do.
Yeah, but then he realizes pretty early on that, oh, well, everybody is like me, so I'm not going to get made
Right.
fun of because everybody's going through the same thing as me. And that's
Mhm.
what these kids kind of bond over is they're, you know what, they're the lovable losers. That's kind
Yeah.
of how this movie's introduced with
Yeah.
Jerry. He just all this bad stuff's happening to him. He misses the school bus. He can't throw the baseball over the fence. The dog's just barking at him. It's just all this stuff that just like is having a bad day. And it
Right.
gets worse by him finding out he's got to go to camp. But then he meets his first kid on the airplane, played by Keenan Thompson.
Oh, young Keenan.
Actually, I wanted to bring this up. So this movie actually has a big connection to the Mighty Ducks franchise. I don't know if you realize that.
No.
Well, you should because there's a
No.
lot of actors in this movie that appear in. Well,
Oh,
first off, the guy that directed this created the Mighty Ducks movies,
okay.
and he also co-created or co-wrote it with Judd Apatow. Okay, Judd Apatow, who went on to do The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, This Is
Okay.
40. So the Mighty Ducks. Okay. So the main kid, Jerry, was in
Yeah.
the first Mighty Ducks. He played Carp.
Oh,
Yeah. And
damn.
then Keenan Thompson, as you know, was in D2, D3. He played Russ Tyler. Josh in this movie is Goldberg from all three Mighty Ducks. And then
Yeah.
there's one more
I
actor or
remember.
actress, the main girl, Nurse Julie. She
Yeah.
actually has a small role in D2, The Mighty Ducks. She plays this like server at the party that Gordon Bobet's at. So yeah,
Oh,
this movie's got a big connection to the Mighty Ducks franchise. Plus, they're both Disney movies.
right. Right.
So, anyways,
That
he
helps a
meets
big
Keenan
connection.
Thompson, who kind of introduces him to everybody, kind of shows him the ropes a little bit. We
Uh,
meet our cast of characters who is led by this kind of lifelong camp counselor guy named Pat.
yeah. He's like like he said like the normal loser that never grew up in a way because he watches over the kids, yeah, but it's like he's still one of them.
Yeah, he's got their back for sure.
Yeah.
But he's also he plays like an older brother at times to them. He's like a mentor at times, and he's also just a friend at times. And I really like his relationship with Jerry because Jerry's the
Yeah.
new kid, and he kind of takes him under his wing. And
Mhm.
then those two become very close throughout the movie. Like they have this kind of
Yeah, they
special
have a
bond,
little
which
bonds,
I
yeah.
really like. And the guy who plays Pat, his name's Tom McGowan. I definitely recognized him in other movies, but he's always had small parts. Like he was in Ghost World. He was also in The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. He's always had like small roles in other movies, but I've always known him mainly
See,
from Heavyweights.
yeah, I only know him from Heavyweights. That's the only movie I really know him from. The original owners, uh,
Pl- Played by,
uh,
well, it's Ben Stiller's father, Jerry Stiller, and
yeah,
his real life mom.
Jerry. Yeah, yeah, I know Jerry Stiller, and I like that too. That that's his dad playing him, and then he plays himself as his dad
As his
in
own
the
dad, right? At the end, yeah.
uh. But yeah, they were they were fun at the beginning, you know, like they're trying to introduce and when they give their last speech, it's like, don't let anyone sign your checks for you.
Never let anyone sign your checks.
Yeah. It's funny. I always remember Jerry Stiller first from this movie, and then of course
Yeah,
later on in life I knew him from Seinfeld, King of Queens, some other stuff.
yeah,
And I always thought his role was so much bigger in this movie, but he's really only in that scene
that's
with
it.
his
In the
wife,
beginning,
and
yeah.
then he appears in the promo video
Right,
too
yeah, but
with his wife, but that was pretty much it. And I always thought he had such a bigger role. I think it's such a memorable scene
uh-huh.
because then Ben Stiller's introduced in just the wackiest way, and I love that scene where the kids are crying and you're like, I want to go home, and
Yeah.
it's Tony Perkis, man, and he's just all over. He's just, man, he's milking the scene in this, and I
Oh,
love when he's running by at the end and only one kid gives him a high five. I
he
thought that
takes
shit
the
was funny.
You're so skinny, Tony.
Oh, Lars, man.
Bars.
Lars is the
Bars.
MVP of this in my book. He's so funny. The actor that plays him, I don't know where he's supposed to be from. That
I
there's the
don't
joke that he says, "Oh, very far away." But the actual actor, he's just doing an accent. I've seen that guy in like one other movie called Lucas. And he's just like a guy from like Chicago or something, but yeah, he's funny in this movie. There's so many quotable lines. I like when they're, of course, when he's getting attacked by the deer.
Can you please have some mercy, have pity or something like that. He said.
Yeah, he's so funny. And I do like I never like I know that he joins them at the end
Right.
and he kind of and I didn't really pay attention until the end and like he's all around them at the end when they're all cheering and everything and
Yeah.
he's doing the hip hip hooray with them. So that was cool. Lars he didn't want to get deported, so he
Yeah.
joined the heavyweights. He joined them.
If you don't have a job, you get deported. So, Lars, buddy, pal, you with us or are you against us?
I am with you. I love you.
But it's funny though. I don't know if you noticed it, but while he's in the big bonfire party, he's throwing the food everywhere, but you never really see him eat anything.
Oh, he's what did he say? He's vegan or vegetarian or
He's a
something.
vegetarian, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just candy, so. But since he was still very into fitness and whatnot, I don't think he was still gonna eat anything.
Yeah, I did notice also in that scene in the morning when they're all waking up, look like
Yeah.
they're hungover. I think you can see Kenny the cameraman in the background as well. I think he's laying on the grass as well, like he was a little hungover and was partying all night. Funny enough, Kenny the cameraman, he's been in a ton of stuff. He's been in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, Alan Covert.
Like
So he's
I see his face everywhere, but I always have a hard time pinpointing my exact movies.
I mean, just watch any Happy or any Adam Sandler movie and
Oh,
he's
that's true. Yeah,
in
he's
all of
always
them.
there. He's
So
always there. He always plays the
or
really weird
he's
character.
also the lead in Grandma's Boy, if you've seen that movie.
Not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, this movie's got, I mean, a pretty stacked cast. So,
Yeah.
you do have Ben Stiller, Paul Feig, who's gone on to have a huge directing career. He plays Tim, the other camp counselor, like the kind of goofy one, the skinny
Yeah.
guy that they make fun of. He's directed like big movies recently, like he did the 2016 Ghostbusters, a lot of
Oh,
Melissa McCarthy movies like Spy, and I think he did Bridesmaids as well. So he does a lot of
oh wow.
comedy, and he's gone on. He was in The Office, and
So
he's
yeah,
done a ton of stuff.
he
But
definitely
I always knew him first as the guy from Heavyweights, which is pretty funny. Tim Blake Nelson has a cameo in the beginning. He plays the recruiter guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. See, when I think of him, I think of holes. Not
Yeah,
really
Holes.
not
Yeah.
really heavyweights. I always think of holes first.
Yeah,
And
Holes or Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk, yeah. Yeah. There's always
Yeah.
holes for some reason.
Yep. Yeah, Tim Blake Nelson has a small role.
Yeah.
The main girl who played Nurse Julie, man, she was a honey. I've only seen her in some other stuff, but she
Josh honey of the week.
that's Chris's cutie of the week. It's your episode. But she kind of stopped acting, I think. I was looking at her IMDb, and
She didn't do
as
much.
far yeah, as far as the kids go, um, we talked about Keenan Thompson,
Right, yeah, he yeah.
Sean Weiss, who played Josh. He was in the Mighty Ducks movies as Goldberg. The main kid, Aaron Schwartz, he kind of took a break from acting, and I think he came back and he was on, I think it was I can't remember which show he came back on, but he got like really skinny, and he actually is a very, very good
Wow.
looking guy. As far as the rest of the supporting cast of kids,
Mhm.
I did look it up. I don't think most of them really did anything, and then I did actually right before we got on. So the one that played Sam, his nickname was Salami Sam.
Yeah.
I guess he passed away about
Oh,
7 years ago. So he was pretty young. He was like
damn.
36. So I thought
Yeah.
I would mention that because yeah,
Rest in peace.
but yeah, I don't think any of the other kids went on to do much besides like Keenan Thompson and the other two main ones.
It's always like that with like those Disney movies. Like it's most of the cast, like that was their big hit and that was it. And then only a few of them go on to actually pursue their career in acting or
Yeah, I
anything in
mean,
the film industry, really.
for some of these kids, this was like maybe the only thing they did. Like some of them only had this on their IMDb. What's funny is that when you're a kid and you like, I mean, for myself, I watched this movie all the time as a kid, and I've actually watched this movie a lot even as an adult. Like it's a movie that my parents will watch over the summer. They're like, what movie do we want to watch tonight? Let's watch Heavyweights because they love this movie too. So I've watched this movie a lot like throughout the years,
I
but
know as a kid, yeah.
I definitely watched it a lot as a kid. There are certain things that so this movie's very quotable and it has a
Yeah.
lot of funny quotes that I was quoting throughout the movie, especially Lars. My favorite quote is weird. So my favorite quote was not did you watch this on Disney Plus?
Yes.
Okay. My favorite quote was cut from the movie. It was very weird.
Which one?
So I always quote this anytime I'm like outside. I even joked to this with my dad when we talk about this movie. The scene where Ben Stiller is jogging and they're breaking into his little cabin. He
Yeah.
stops for one moment and he goes back and he picks up a log and he goes, "Come here, you devil log." And he like
Right.
Devil lug!
that was not I don't remember seeing that in the movie.
But it was in the movie.
It was? I don't remember seeing it during that scene. I specifically was paying attention and I was like, did that get cut? And I looked on YouTube and they specifically had that scene and there was a comment that someone said something like, "I'm glad I could find this scene here." I mean,
That's weird
I'm gonna go
because
back and
I just saw it and he does say it. He goes for it. Come here, you devil log, and he goes off
uh
with it.
all right, I'll go back and rewatch it, but I was watching that scene and I don't remember seeing that and I was like, did Disney cut that out for some reason? So we'll see. But that's my favorite line in the movie. There are some other I mean, Ben Stiller has a ton of great lines in this movie as
Yeah, he
well.
does. Yeah. But yeah, it's mostly Lars's quotes that buddy, buddy, buddy. The body system. No, no, it's a fun movie. It really is. It does have that family uh like family feeling, the whole connection, like you said, with Pat. Those yeah, those sentimental scenes of the movie. Uh, I do like the scene where after I think it was after the dance where Pat's pushing him on the go-kart.
Hmm.
I thought that scene was like so. It's a nice scene, it's very heartfelt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's what Nurse Julie thought when she was watching it. She was like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, Pat, yeah, you stay with me next time.
He does. He does. He
Yep.
does in the end. But Tim, how he saved dance by doing his wacky 80s dance.
Hmm. That would be me. I'm Tim in this movie. Like I would
You're
just go up there and I
10.
would just start dancing, just be the weird guy, just to like liven up the party. I mean, Lars was dancing, man. He was vibing until
Mhm.
Tony had to ruin it.
Of course, of course. He didn't expect to be an actual party.
There is one character in this movie who I feel like had potentially had like scenes cut because he's the one guy who works for Tony, but he said he was in the Chipmunk the year
Yeah,
before. Like so I feel like there was more to his character than we saw. Like we see him throughout the movie.
me neither.
And we actually find out that like, he's like sneaking food to the kids at some point. Because there's that whole montage where he's the one that's hiding it in that
And
little
then
tree
the
trunk.
stone. Yeah.
And I feel like there was more there with him. We didn't really know much about. I don't even know if he had a name. He was just like the spiky haired younger kid, but
Yeah.
I feel like there was potentially more there. Yeah.
Um, that was also a funny scene with the tree stump, everyone getting their food, including Pat too. He's like 3 bags of fast food.
3 bags of big boy. And then of course the next scene is when they're doing the weigh in, which is another great funny scene.
Come
And
on,
oh,
come on up. You gained 2 pounds.
On the scale, son. Get off the scale.
Okay then.
Turn off.
Yeah.
actually, if you pay attention close, this movie is dubbed a lot because I think there was some foul language at certain points that you can tell were cut like dubbed over for like less or like not foul language.
Well, it's
Like
a
there's one point where the
PG-13, right?
guy's driving the one kid's driving the go-kart in the race at the end, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Oh
Oh
shoot!" And
shoot. Yeah.
you could tell he said shit.
What's a PG-13, right?
No, it's PG.
Oh, I thought it was PG-13 this entire time.
No, it was a Disney movie in the '90s. They didn't do PG-13.
Oh, we gotta talk about Tony's cage.
Oh yeah, they trap him in there. He's funny. I mean, they're doing the montage. They're finally having fun at camp, and then he's just
Mm.
there. He's like, "For the love of God, somebody, please let me out!" And then of course he electrocutes himself, and
That
then
was fun.
and then he gets Nicholas with the
The
Hershey
chocolate
kiss,
kiss.
chocolate, chocolicious. Oops, Butterfingers. I do
Oh,
like the when they're all watching the home video or the
and he's just
video,
in
and
the window right there.
well, no, just the video itself is just
Oh,
so
yes.
funny because he's just like he's trying to be like friendly. He has that scene with Josh. And he's just like, so how was lunch? And he keeps cutting him
Ooh.
off, and he starts freaking out on him. Like
Yeah.
it's funny. And yeah, he's sitting in the window and he jumps down and he goes,
It's like, ouch.
ouch, and he does his little flip. Yeah.
Then, of course, to prove that he's strong, walking on glass, cutting
Oh
his.
yeah, even that's funny. He just throws the glass on and just starts stepping on it on purpose to
It's
show
like,
how tough he is.
oh,
Yep. Yeah. And then that's it. He's done for the rest of the movie. He knocks himself out, and he himself comes back as with a wig and older prosthetics and to play his
oh,
father and takes him away, and that's it.
Papa.
I do wonder like what would have happened after that summer to that camp, like because Tony owned it, like he owned the camp, so would he
Right.
just sell it or like continue with it? But
Oh,
I guess that's one of those things you never knew. And this movie, unfortunately, no sequel.
no,
Um,
I don't. It's not necessary. Not really. I can see if they did something like in the credits, like showing snippets of how the camp went on. Like maybe
well,
see.
this movie does have some credit stuff
Right.
going on.
Yeah. But like see what happened to Tony kind of thing.
You do see what happens to Tony.
I don't remember.
Here's a post-credit scene.
Oh, I forgot to watch that. What was it?
I'm not telling you. You gotta watch and find out.
Oh man, I forgot the post-credit scene.
He's selling like uh not jewelry, but it's like some sort of like goofy, funny stuff, and the person just shuts the door on his face.
Well, he did do a lot of those cameos, like or not cameo, post-credit scenes, right? And he does it in Dodgeball,
Yeah, he's in Dodgeball. He's fat.
right? Which
Yeah.
is kind of funny. See, right? That post-credit scene, he's fat and then Weight Watchers, heavyweights. He's not. It the irony right there.
It's probably one of the funniest kids movies I've ever seen in my life. Like I can easily say that. And it just shows like how talented Judd Apatow, you know, is that he could write this movie and just to show his talents of how funny he is. And of course, I think the reason Ben Stiller's in this movie is because him and Judd Apatow go far back, like from like college, because I think they went to
Uh,
NYU together with Adam
okay.
Sandler actually. So I think
Of
there's a whole
course.
connection there. But yeah, I
Of
think that's
course.
kind of how this whole thing came to be. And I think this is Judd Apatow's first movie that he like sold or wrote or something like that. I mean,
Okay.
he was pretty young when
Okay.
he made this, but
No.
yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the funniest kids movies I've ever seen, and I think it holds up pretty well. You know, people could be like, "Oh, the movie about the fat kids and they're body shaming them." Like, nah, man, it's still funny.
No, it's
And
funny. Uh, of course, I can see people criticizing it because of that now, like modern day kind of thing, but it's just meant to have fun. It's just funny. It's like you can't pull those jokes nowadays because it offends someone.
well, that's kind of the point of comedy sometimes, whether it is 30 years ago or now. It's the point of comedy is to sometimes offend people, and
Yes.
that's just what it's about. Or else don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think South Park would be going if they weren't trying to offend
Oh,
people?
I mean they go way beyond. But yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. And it's really is funny. And seeing Ben Stiller being the crazy guy is you can't not watch that. It's funny. Yeah, it's like putting all his characters, like you said, are wacky. Even you can put Zoolander and he's still wacky in that one,
Hmm.
just like this one. I was just thinking about Tropic Thunder too.
Mm.
Now that's a movie to watch.
Oh man, heavyweights. It's a kids classic, you know. Once again, if you're talking to people around your age range and you bring up that movie, most likely they saw it. Most likely they probably remember it as a kid watching it on VHS like I do, and probably remember having a fun time. And I don't know, maybe this movie made you want to go to summer camp when you were a kid.
Yeah.
It didn't really make me want to go to summer camp, but it looked like a lot of fun, especially during the scenes where they're actually enjoying themselves.
The
And of course,
blah.
it's about, going there and making friends. Like that's the whole point. And
Yeah.
maybe even losing a little bit of weight, but one could only
Yeah.
hope for so much.
Uh, and you can still lose weight with doing all those activities. You know, it made me
Activities like eating all that food.
besides the food, but like it made me want to drive a go-kart again. I miss go-karts. I do, truly do. And I've never been on the 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 blob before, so I've always wanted to try that.
That looked like a lot of fun.
It
Those
does.
were those are basically the two things in the camp that
Yeah,
they made you want to go there, but
yeah,
that and Nurse Truly, so yeah.
yeah. That's heavyweight for you guys. So thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment, suggest a movie for us to review next time.
So cut, print, moving on.